Did you start off at Canterbury City? Is that right, or did you have a job before that?
Management. Yeah. So I started off at Canterbury City under 13s.
Right. Okay.
That's where I started off. Took my sort of school side, which was decent at Simon Langton Boys. Took them into under 13s football, and we kind of like snowballed from there. Sort of won everything through 13s all the way through to 18s, and then Canterbury City was the sort of first men's football sort of break I had really. I was involved at Herne Bay as like an assistant coach and that type of stuff. But in terms of first team management, Canterbury City was the
And
first
how well
one.
did you get on there when it got to the first team?
Yeah, we I guess small budget, nomads in terms of the ground, etc. That sort of situation. They were struggling like hell, and we came in and consolidated sort of mid-table or above every year. The best runs in their FA Cup, best runs in the Vars. And
that's what I was going to say. Did you get to the semi-final?
And then obviously my final year there, we got to the Vars semi-final, and very narrowly missed out on Wembley.
Yeah, I was going to say the final was at Wembley, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
so
what was it? 2-1.
We were
2 legs.
We were, to be fair, like we were underdogs in pretty much other than the first qualifying round. So you probably got to play 10 games to get to the semi-final. So that first game, we were favourites. We were playing a team below us. Every other game that we played in that, we were the underdogs because we had a few good players, but the teams we were playing, it seemed every time I sort of researched them, they had a chairman with money. They had this ex-player, this ex-player. I think one of the sides was down in Brighton playing at the Withdean Stadium. Their club had the money to be renting that out as their home ground. Every time it was very much a case of backs against the wall, which I think suited us, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really suited us. And I loved the FA Vars was you were constantly playing the unknown. So you're playing a team from, Hertfordshire. They know nothing about you. And obviously I'm sending people to go and watch them. It felt like it was above the level we were at.
Yeah.
And I think our preparation for those Vars games was just so much. We did so much more in terms of preparation for those games than we did for the league. To be honest, we had a chance of us winning that league with the budget we had was very, very low. But the further you got in the Vars, it was exciting. TalkSport were doing the live draws and all that sort of stuff.
Oh wow!
So I think we had a few players that had been to the semi-final with Herne Bay before, so they were kind of part of the reason they dropped down was like, let's have another crack at the Vars. And
Did you leave that season after you?
So I got as soon as the Vars finished, like we got obviously lost the semi-final of the Vars. We had about 3 games left, and things just turned very sour. So I was pretty much running the whole club.
Yeah.
And there were 2 directors above me, and I don't think they liked the fact that it was me that was running the club. I think they felt that they were losing power, which was never my sort of aim to do.
Happened.
Just sort of happened. We obviously went from 20 people and his man, his dog, to 1,700 in an FA Vars semi-final, one step away from Wembley. And that was at the time when the club were close to getting their stadium. So all the planning permission had gone through with the council. And I think like a couple of days after the Vars semi-final, we got told that it weren't going to happen. And then suddenly, they sacked me.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that.
Sacked me, which was strange. And they said that because I'd made some remarks in the press because we played Cray Valley in the semi-final of Vars. They were also going to try and win the league, and we had them last game of the season. So I had a reporter say, "Who would you rather go up, Cray Valley or Corinthian?" And I was like, "Well, Cray Valley have got an awful lot of money, millionaires backing them. Let's get rid of Cray Valley." Obviously, that was before the game, so people were then saying, "Well, you're going to throw the game."
Yeah.
We're never going to throw the game.
No.
And as it happened, I think they scored in the 86th minute to win 1-0.
Right.
So it was a tight game.
Yeah.
But the directors used it as a bit of ammunition to fight, that as a reason to sack me. And they said that the league had told them if they didn't get rid of me, that they would be like basically demoted to the league.
Right. Okay.
So I'm thinking, what's this about? Like, ring the secretary up, and the secretary's come out and like publicly and said there's lots of rumours going around about Ben Smith at Canterbury City. Would you like to say that we've not made any sanctions? There's no issue.
But the league said this.
The league said this.
Well,
so
the club are
basically,
making it up.
so he's just making it up. But yeah, obviously they were taking money out of the club. And obviously I was getting more and more power, and I was getting more and more. I started to see what was going on behind the scenes with the finances.
Yeah.
So they didn't want me near it.
Right.
How long was you at Canterbury City first team before you got to that FA Vase semi-final?
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
And you said they were...
So the first season it was a case of, can you get us a team together, because we are right in the thick of it. I think they stayed up on the last day of the season or whatever. So we had the first season, got a side together, and we had the best FA Vase run they'd ever had. So we got to the last 32, and we were thinking, like, God, what a great run that was. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the next season it just snowballed from there really. But I'd also been a player there, so I'd captained the club when they got promoted into the Kent League.
Oh wow!
So that was part of my reason going back there. Was I've been a player at the club. I've done the youth teams there. This can see what I can do as a first team manager.
Yeah, that's fair. You tried to stay loyal to the club, didn't you?
And I say, when I say they're directors, they did nothing.
Yeah.
It was down to me to get sponsors on board. I was the kit man, the manager, the treasurer.
They wanted you to do it all, but then when you started doing it all, they didn't like it.
Well,
sounds like
I think because obviously it was around the time where they were trying to get the ground, and they were in with Quinn Estates, and the owner of Quinn Estates, Mark Quinn's quite influential on the local council. Mm-hmm. And the local council has always been sort of Tories down there. Well, there was a Labour MP, Rosie Duffield, who ended up getting the Canterbury City, not turning it to Labour. Anyway, the club was saying to me, can you get someone down to help us get more publicity? And I just see her on Twitter, and I just messaged her saying, can you come down with, doing great for the community, etc. This is our situation. And she came. She came to our Vase games. But I think that annoyed Quinn Estates, because obviously quite well known that they put money into backing the Tories, sponsoring them, because it helps and serves their business. And I think the club were then, oh no, it's nothing to do with us. It's Ben Smith's the one that's brought the Labour MP on board. Yeah. And sort of threw me under the bus. And I think they were also, it was a part of it. Well, don't worry, we'll get rid of him.
It's amazing what goes on at football clubs, isn't it?
If he'd pulled his money, he was actually paying the ground share agreement with Faversham. If he pulled his money, one of them would have had to find the money to pay the ground share. So there was an awful lot going on behind the scenes, but my whole squad walked.
Oh wow!
And in football, when managers get sacked, it's very rare the whole squad go, I'm having nothing to do with it. Which was
says a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. It's kind of like the players sort of knew that the club was a bit rotten.
Yeah,
by the sounds of it.
Absolutely.
And they didn't want any part of that. So
I mean,
fair play.
Yeah, and they didn't turn up. So the players got into a Vase semi-final. The day after, they rang me saying, we don't want to pay the players any more money this season because we're not going to win the league, so let's just cut all the money. I'm like, these lads have got you just semi-final of FA Vase. You've earned 30 odd grand off that. You don't want to pay, no. So for the last 4 weeks, I paid the players their wages.
Wow.
Sounds a bit like Chelsea at the moment, doesn't it?
On a much smaller scale.
I just think, what we created there was, I mean, obviously going to Wembley would have been much better, but
I still
Canterbury City to go to the Vase semi-final is special.
Oh yeah,
and
it was an overachievement.
Massively.
Yeah.
I mean, the year before, last 32, that was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
But to get to that stage, you're doing BBC interviews.
And to lose 2-1 over 2 legs isn't...
2-1 over 2 legs against a team that were, heavy favourites, a lot of money.
Did they go on to win it?
But they lost in the final.
Oh, did they?
Interesting enough, I always thought we would do better against the team that played in the final than we would against Cray. But we basically were shithouses in that competition.
Yeah.
like every throw-in, I'm like, look, take 2 minutes over the throw-ins. Let's throw it down there.
Dark arts.
Very much so. And we'd never been a side that had done that before. But we were...
It pays off sometimes, eh?
Absolutely. You know, the longer it went with Cray not in front of us...
The more it suited you.
And the more they were getting frustrated, they were losing their heads with each other.
Yeah.
But we missed 3 1-on-1s in the first leg. We missed an open goal in the second leg. We had one off the line, we hit the bar. Do you know when Frank Lampard hits the bar and goes down?
Yeah.
To this day, I'll never know if it went in or not. But those fine margins, you know, I think over the 2 legs we were a better side.
Yeah.
Which is mad to say.
Sometimes a better team don't always go through.
But yeah, it just didn't happen for us. So yeah.
Not long after that, in May, you went to you become Herne Bay manager. Did they approach you, I take it, or?
So Herne Bay, similar situations when I took over Canterbury. They were in a mess, to be honest. You know, financially they couldn't afford to keep running the club, so they were looking for people to take over. So I sort of heard of it, and a group of people I know, I was like, look, do you fancy taking over Herne Bay? I kind of brokered the deal because I played for the club, I'd been around the club, etc. And then we managed to sort of take it over, and then it was a case of, I wanted to be a manager, I didn't want to be a chairman or anything like that. The previous board at Herne Bay, when we approached them, said, well, who would be the manager, who would be the chairman, etc. We gave them that information. There were a few people they didn't want involved. They stepped away so that we could take over the club and sort of save the club. And it just...
How long was you there for?
So I was there for, feels like 2 seasons, but I think it was 3 seasons, but 2 of those were...
Full seasons?
Curtailed through COVID.
Oh, right, okay.
So one full
season, yeah.
Which is mad.
And is that the season you obviously
got promoted?
Beat Ramsgate to a playoff spot, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And who did you beat in the playoff final?
So we beat Hayward Heath in the playoff semi, and then Ashford away in the playoff final. And
then you stood down in November.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that?
So I think it's well documented now. Like financial issues at the club were. I mean, I had lads coming to me and saying I've not been paid for 4 or 5 weeks,
right, okay.
and getting to a stage where they're refusing to play. You know, it's in the past I would have gone out of my own pocket and paid it, but not. Yeah, it got to a stage where you know I wasn't getting paid.
You'd already done it for Canterbury as well.
I'd already done it before. Yeah. You know, I'd helped out the year we got promoted. Just couldn't keep doing it. I'm a teacher. There's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
So that was that. I actually had interviews after every game. I did resign after Lewis. We beat Lewis 4-1. You know, fantastic game of football, to be fair. I thought let's leave on that. So on the interview, I resigned.
Did your players know you were gonna?
No. So I resigned, and then I got asked to basically change my mind.
Oh, right.
I did, which was never done. And then I think I lasted another 4 games. But I was signing players. We had so many injuries. I was signing players, and then getting told you can't play them this week because they got transfer embargo.
Oh right, okay.
I'm getting told, you know, it was two lads we were going to have on loan from Dagenham and Redbridge. Like, perfect. And then last minute, oh no, we can't afford. We're not going to pay them that.
Right.
Like, what?
Don't tell me they're here if they're not here.
It was a farce. And then all sorts of rumours were flying around. I see that, you know, people that were coming to repossess kitchens and all that sort of stuff at the club. The club was just in a mess off the pitch.
Is it still? Do you know? Or
well, I know they owe people a lot of money.
Right. Okay.
They owe players money. But even at the start of that season, we didn't start too badly in the league. Performance-wise, we were dominating sides, and I'm thinking it just takes a couple of wins here and we're flying. But we had the whole of pre-season, away. Didn't have a home, so you get promoted. You have the momentum, the buzz of getting promoted, and then suddenly next pre-season, you don't have one home game. Suddenly we're at Ramsgate or we're God knows where playing friendlies or playing all of our friendlies away.
Yeah.
you lose the momentum.
Yeah.
I think first 4 games of the season were at Ramsgate,
Right.
which, decent pitch, etc. But it don't help
No.
when you're trying to carry on what you've just built.
I've noticed your Ramsgate fixtures, 6 out of 8 are at home, aren't they? The pre-seasons.
Yeah.
Is there a reason behind that?
I didn't do the fixtures.
Right, okay. I didn't know. Would you have chose that? Do you prefer most being at home, or would you rather most away?
Considering the year before, kept getting told, we've now got a start date for the pitch. It'll be your 3rd friendly, it'll be your 4th friendly, and then it was like 10 games down the line. We actually did play at home. As many home games as possible, because local people don't want to travel away on a pre-season friendly.
No.
You just about get them on a league game. And also, I want our new players, I want them to have a connection with supporters.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would say about Herne Bay is, we had a very good connection, the players and the supporters, and myself and the supporters. So I think having as many home games as possible, money in the club. Actually, to be fair, Ramsgate is free entry, so it's not even about the money with Ramsgate.
Yeah.
Previously it would have been, but it's just about getting people there and having people see, this is our new signing, or this.
Yeah. You've got a question about what attracted him.
Yeah. So what attracted you to the Ramsgate job?
It's an interesting story, this, because I'd been offered jobs last year, just not interested. That for me, in my head, it was like, I'm done. I'll just concentrate on my family and my career. I've done pretty well in non-league management. I've proven I can do it. I never really set out, I want to get to this level or this level. For me, it was about, I wanted to be involved in a local football club.
Yeah.
And there was clubs that came in for me that were outside the local area, and again, it wouldn't appeal to me. I think non-league football is about local communities. So I turned them down, and then obviously Herne Bay, the chairman, stepped down. There's a lot of change there. They approached me to come back in, said that they're going to have good backing, etc., and they're going to turn the club around, and they wanted me to be the sort of figurehead of that. The feel-good factor.
Yeah.
Ben Smith's back. He's going to bring some of the old players back. Suddenly,
Sounds good.
it's a lovely story.
Yeah.
And obviously, you put your heart and soul into a football club. You suddenly then you've got that emotional attachment to it. So I was like, all right. So I agreed to do it. I was actually down there having photos. As I was leaving the grounds, get a phone call, James Lawson, offering the Ramsgate job. I was like, to be fair, I'd been putting Herne Bay off, and I'd sort of agreed to do it, but then it was like 2 weeks before we'd met and had the photos and stuff. And thinking about it now, I do actually think I was waiting to see what happened at Ramsgate, because Ramsgate had gone a few weeks without their manager. I've had good conversations with James before, just about football and non-league in general. I thought I might have got offered it the last time. I didn't. He rang me up and said, "We're going a certain way. That's why I've not offered it to you."
Yeah.
Which I found strange that he would have to. He did that.
Yeah.
And nice that he rang me up to say that we've not tried to get you because of this.
Yeah, but it does also show the type of person he is if he's done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'd seen, as much as we were doing, obviously, what we did at Herne Bay, I was looking over at Ramsgate thinking, that's the club I'd like to be involved with. I work in the local area, what they're doing with the community, 80 youth teams. When you've got the truckers stuck at Manston, they're out there delivering pizzas and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're expanding massively around.
I just think, those little things, I look at them and think, what a club that is.
Yeah.
I'd rather look at that rather than another club, with loads of money throwing it around. I don't see that as a club. That's short term, isn't it?
Yeah.
And things can change. Whereas Ramsgate, yes, James and Richard could walk away. They're not going to because it's in their blood and they'll pass it to their own sons. But if they walked away, it's still a massive club there.
Yeah.
And my missus was like, "Look, you've done it at Herne Bay. What have you got to prove there?" So I went back on my word, which I don't like doing.
No.
And I felt awful because there are some good people at Ramsgate that are trying to save the club, but yeah, Ramsgate, they've not been promoted for 20 odd years.
Close as well, weren't they?
They've been close. Yeah, I mean, I watched them last year in a game against Chatham. They won the game, but I said to James, I don't think you get promoted.
What, you said it on that day, or?
And they were flying high.
Yeah.
I just thought they were getting very lucky. At some point, your luck runs out.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It's good to be lucky, but
yeah,
performance levels as well. You got.
Yeah.
I think they weren't dominating games.
A lot of the fans were saying last year that we were lucky to be in the position we were. And we were scraping wins and things like that. And it was what's the word? It was only a matter of time until we slipped up.
Yeah. And
it happened eventually, didn't it?
Yeah.
They've still done well though.
Yeah. I finished second.
Yeah.
You know.
What
happened, a lot of leagues,
what happened with
promoted.
Lovell? Do you know?
With Lovell?
Yeah.
Because
that was random.
Yeah, I mean, James has come out publicly at the Q&A and said that it was kind of lost the dressing room.
Oh, okay.
You know, I wasn't there. I can't comment on
of course,
ins and outs of it. But I think, yeah, whether they put the time and effort into Ramsgate, what they might have done at other clubs.
Yeah.
I guess there's a question mark over that. But I'm sure Steve and Mark, I know them, Steve and Mark will have something to say about that as well. But I think the players were not particularly happy.
Right, okay. I didn't know that. I generally didn't know the reason. I wasn't at the Q&A.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, go on.
With Ramsgate only narrowly missing out last year, a lot of new players are coming this season. What would success look like for you at this stage going into the new season, do you think?
It's got to be promotion.
Yeah.
I've not come. Yeah. As much as it's nice to be involved in a football club, you know, I've not got involved. You know, leaving my wife and kids at home, and you know, all that extra time to get anything other than promotion.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, you know, if we can make the playoffs, it'll be a good first year, etc. And yeah, on paper, another season, get into the playoffs and see what happens from there might well be looked at as, you know, that's a good start to my sort of, you know, I've got a 2-year contract for my reign, but I'd certainly be disappointed if we couldn't get promoted.
As a manager, there's only one aim, isn't there? Really.
And so many people just, you know, when they're asked, and I see them on Kent Online, some of the local managers, and they're like, you know, we just take it one game as it comes. Yeah, you do, of course you do. But have some bollocks and say what you think.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, people think like it's the Premier League and they're media trained.
Yeah.
I want to win a league.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
I'm not scared of saying that. Does it put more pressure on the players? Well, I don't know. I mean,
because they want the same.
They've signed for Ramsgate Football Club.
Yeah.
And I think Ramsgate's a massive club at this level. So why shouldn't it be to win a league?
Yeah.
And there'll be 8 other clubs that should be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's...
Who are the other teams to look out for, do you think, when you're looking at league table?
Ashford, Sevenoaks, Hereford Belvedere, obviously ex-manager there.
What about teams that have come down? No.
It's like Herne Bay, isn't it?
Are they the only team that come down?
Yeah.
Oh, is that only one team that got relegated? Oh, right, I didn't know that. Okay.
I think it's only one team that come into our league.
That'd be a lovely game, wouldn't it, for you?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a hard one. I think I'll get some abuse.
It kicked off last year. I was there at Southwood.
Yeah, I was suspended in that game.
W. Martin.
I was suspended in that game, so I was in stands.
Oh, okay.
And I see the geezer was giving it to our dugout.
I know who that is, yeah.
Yeah, I see him again at Ashford doing the same thing.
Yeah,
and I ran over, because I see it all kicking off, I ran over, just try and separate it.
Yeah. He was down there waiting, wasn't he?
Oh, he was trying to bait someone.
You can tell me after who that is.
You
can guess.
He was trying to bait someone.
Okay.
He was very close to baiting me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was stood at the back of the stand, sort of hiding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a good atmosphere. I mean, their supporters, to be fair, you know, they travel, they sing.
They bought 400, would you say?
Yeah.
Last year?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I'm sure it was about 400 to Ramsgate last year.
And obviously, with what's happened with the management, yeah.
Going back to like when you mentioned your time at Canterbury City, and you was going up against these clubs that had like a certain like type of player, caliber of player they've played elsewhere in, you know, clubs further up the you know, the pyramid. Does it now feel nice to be at Ramsgate where you've also got players that have played at that kind of level as well?
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people going, oh, you know, Ramsgate, you know, HMS Pistol League and all that with all these pictures of boats on them. And obviously, you know, Ramsgate, oh, how are they getting his money? You know, where's financial fair play in non-league? It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Like, I would say our budget will be in the top 6, but I really don't think it will be the highest budget in the league. And I mean, I didn't have a lot less at Herne Bay when you counter in the tax and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think Herne Bay will have a lot less this year. But yeah, I've been there at Canterbury City where I'm putting 20 quid in and, you know, 40 quid here to try and fund, you know, to get an extra player over the line.
Yeah.
You know, so all this stuff talk about budgets, you know, I've been up against teams with big budgets and they've done nothing.
Yeah.
And I've seen clubs with no budget do well. So, you know, I think when we were at Herne Bay, I think we must have been promoted on one of the lowest budgets to get promoted on out of this league. When I look back at the teams that got promoted out of it, I mean, obviously I don't know the exact figures, but it wouldn't be too hard to work out. So yeah, I think there's too much talk about money and budgets. You know,
but just out of interest,
I think I deserve a good budget.
Yeah, just out of interest, like all the players you've signed, 2 questions. 1, do you make them decisions? Do you say, I want him?
Yeah.
Right. And 2, how much does an average player cost? You don't have to tell me who costs what, but what do these players cost at Ramsgate to buy and in this league? Is it thousands or hundreds or?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not buying players for 3-4 grand or anything like that?
We haven't bought a player.
Okay.
So they've all been free transfers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we haven't bought a player.
Like Juventus.
Yeah. Yeah, so we haven't bought a player. Obviously, the club has sold players in the past. So if the player's under contract, then you have to put an offer in and try and buy them. Trying to think if we haven't even put in a bid for a player under contract actually.
Really?
No.
You're not planning on? Is there a player you've got your eye on?
There are players out there that are under contract that we would go for.
Yeah.
You know, it's no secret Joe Taylor is a sort of local legend.
Great plan.
He's under contract, you know. If we thought there was any chance of getting him out of Lewis, I'm sure we'd put a bid in for him.
You're playing him pre-season, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played in the same team as him today, actually.
Yeah.
He scored a couple of worldies.
Yeah, he's got it.
Little whisperings here.
But yeah, I mean, I say there's no one under contract at the minute that we're trying to sign. But that may change.
Yeah.
We'll see during the season how things go.
So, if you can just tell us a little bit about players. Alfie Paxman.
Yep.
His twin brother plays for Ramsgate already, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think they've played in a senior team together.
Have they not?
Which is strange.
Yeah.
I thought they had, but no, they haven't. So yeah, Alfie was obviously at Dover. He took that. It was at Folkestone. Took that step up to Dover, and I think he was played out of position.
Okay.
He's played at left back at Dover.
Yeah.
And I think Alfie's best attributes are attacking.
Yeah.
He scored a lot of goals for Folkestone, sort of playing left wing back and left wing, and that's where he'll play for us.
What about Dan Johnson? Obviously, was you his manager at Herne Bay?
So Dan Johnson, I was his coach at Herne Bay when he first signed for Herne Bay as like a 19-year-old from Maidstone Academy. He was on loan at Ramsgate. It was about when he was like 17.
Right.
Randomly, yeah, I think he had like 20 games on loan. And then we sold him from Herne Bay, sold him to Bromley, and then from Bromley he became an England C international, played in the trophy final for them, and did pretty well. But he was playing as a left back. And if you look at Dan Johnson, doesn't look like a left back. He's very tall, gangly.
Yeah.
He always wanted to be a centre half. That's where he was as a kid. That's why he went left back and then sort of moved back into centre half. I think he went from there. I think he went to Margate, and obviously we signed him from Margate, and we had a good relationship with him. And he's one of those very understated players. Sometimes you don't even know he's there, but if he's not there, you certainly see how much of a difference.
You get players like that, like on foot, like in professional football. Some of the best players are names you don't hear them in commentary. They just do their job. They go under the radar.
He's the glue.
Yeah, exactly. Two others from Herne Bay, Jack Parter, is it, and Mike West.
Jack Parter's another one that's been on loan at Ramsgate before. So he was Gillingham when it was Bradley Dack and Jack Parter that were loaned out to Ramsgate under Jim Ward.
Yeah.
I don't think Jim wanted to play. I don't think he rated Bradley Dack.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how many times Bradley Dack played, but I don't know if Jim rated him. I did hear a few rumours that at the time he wasn't rating him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bradley Dack and obviously Parts went on loan there. He then was released from Gillingham, went to Tunbridge Angels where he had good success, promotions. He actually played in the Ryman Prem playoff final. That if you won, you still weren't promoted. You had to then go and play a super playoff final.
Right, okay.
Where the FA was trying to level up the leagues and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous, complete farce.
Yeah.
So he won, that year he had to win 2 playoff finals to get
won them
promoted.
both?
So they won them both, yeah. And he was in the team of the year in the Ryman Prem. And obviously we signed him, and that year we got promoted at Herne Bay, but very attack-minded, good on the ball. Just a bit of a dog, really, just works.
Yeah. And did we talk about Mike West?
No, Mike West.
And Monty Saunders as well from Herne Bay.
Yeah, so Mike West, he's had quite a few clubs. He's like an absolute legend. I think he's played in 3 or 4 playoffs, won them all. So any time he's been in the playoffs, he's won.
Right, okay.
So we took him on loan from Ebbsfleet for the last 10 games that season. We were just below Ramsgate, trying to get in them playoffs.
Yeah.
We signed him, and he was just the spark.
Right, okay.
Yeah, our team just transformed. Quality on the ball was just immense.
Yeah.
And then I think we won every game that we had him. And in the playoff semi-final, he had to come off after 20 minutes. So he'd done his groin, had to come off. And it was touch and go whether he'd play in the final. We got a doctor in, gave him injections, so like cortisone injections.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah,
Feel fine.
blow it, I'll do it.
Really?
Bearing in mind, Ebbsfleet were in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
And Ebbsfleet were trying to take him back.
Yeah.
To have in their squad for the playoffs. But he was like, nah, I'll stay. Yeah, like you wanted to loan me out, I'll stay there and do the playoffs. And he played with injections. He had injections before the game, and then at half time he had to have more.
Wow, what does that do then, that injection?
You can't feel it.
Right.
You literally cannot feel the area. And obviously,
okay.
during the game, he was starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like you need a couple more. And so in the change room, middle of the change room, we've got, like we are now, we've got the bed in the middle, and there's it was Conor Ben's doctor.
Okay.
So
right.
he does obviously for his hands
Yeah.
and training and stuff. Yeah, he was there, doing injections in his groin.
Wow. You
But
just don't know these things go on, did you?
No, I didn't.
Bear in mind, this lad's 33, had a great career. Played in England. It was, again, I think it was an England C. I think he played England under 19s and England C. He was at Crewe under Dario Gradi. He's had a good career.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the most nicest guys, honest guys you'll meet. Just loves football. And yeah, so he did that. But actually, obviously, when you take those, I don't know if you've ever done Football Manager before, and you give them an injection, but they give you the warning that this could cause them to be out for longer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he I don't know the exact injury he did, but he damaged his nerves.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're playing on something that's broken.
Yeah. You can't feel it, so
No.
you're just playing through
Yeah.
it, which.
So he could then rip and tear and do other things in it, which he did.
Yeah.
So the next season we signed him for Herne Bay, did some of pre-season, and it was like, groin's not good. So yeah, it damaged it, so we had to have an operation. And where Herne Bay were in the financial difficulties they were, they should have taken up insurance on him, which they agreed to have.
Yeah.
They didn't, and then suddenly it was a 16 grand operation.
Yeah. Did he have to pay for it?
They did crowdfunding and all that sort of stuff.
Oh wow. Okay.
But obviously he thought he was insured.
Yeah.
So he's obviously quite screwed over quite badly, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then also it was for about 5 months. He was sort of trying to play on it, but then he couldn't play twice in a week.
Yeah.
We were getting told his operation's next week. Don't worry, his operation's next week. So all right, don't play this week then, Westy. And then operation cancelled. And I think even in the end, he had the operation after I left, and then he had bailiffs at his house asking for 16 grand for the money, even though they'd done crowdfunding. So where all that money went, you know.
Blimey.
So he's been stitched up, come into the club and done a great thing,
Yeah.
and then stitched up royally.
Yeah. Blimey. There's some other exciting signings. Lee Martin, Jordan Green. He played well yesterday, didn't he? He's got
I think he's going to be the fastest player we've ever seen at the level.
He's quality. We saw him, didn't we, yesterday?
Like yesterday, he's in second gear.
Yeah.
And
You could see he could have scored a few more, but he chose not to, didn't he?
He's trying to play the ball.
Yeah.
He obviously I've signed him as a winger. I mean, he was a pro at Bournemouth, Yeovil, Barnsley, Gillingham. Last year up until Christmas, he was starting for Gillingham.
What happened there?
Fall out with Neil Harris.
Right. Okay.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know that Neil Harris basically said you're not welcome here anymore.
Oh really?
One man's trash is another man's treasure, mate.
Exactly that. And
That's it.
to be fair, like Jordan, he didn't like being a professional player. But certainly when he was with Barnsley, mutual consent, they sort of terminated the contract. Hated it. And I think he's doing stuff on TikTok now. He's got 1.4 million subscribers on TikTok.
Right. Okay.
So I think he's doing all right.
Might get him on here then.
Might try and get him in.
But lovely lad. Again, if there is a bad side to him, I've not seen it.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
And I think coming in at Ramsgate, there's all these young kids that love community. That it really means
He'll
something
be
to
their
him.
hero, won't he?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I think it will mean something to him as well.
He'll embrace it. Yeah. Lee Martin.
Lee Martin was a scapegoat at Dover. Obviously, they had, their club has been in free fall for a couple of years now. Obviously, he's gone in there. I think his mate, he knew Hess, Andy Hessenthaler. Obviously, Hess was getting a lot of abuse because they weren't signing players and X, Y, and Z. And Lee Martin sort of stuck up for him because Lee Martin's the captain there, sort of stuck up for him in the press and stuff. So Lee was getting a bit of abuse for that. Then Andy Hessenthaler went, and who's left to be the scapegoat? It's Lee Martin.
Who's he paid for? United? Is it?
So I can't remember the amount of clubs he obviously he was a United youngster.
Yeah.
I think they paid 1.5 or £2 million for him. As a 17, 18-year-old from Wimbledon. They dubbed him. It was in some paper, like the next Beckham.
Oh,
So I remember playing against him because he's my age.
Yeah.
So I played against him like district semi-final.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, who is this kid?
Yeah.
Then the next week he's signed for United. The next Beckham.
Wow.
So he was at United for a long spell, and obviously been in the youth teams with some top players, and then kept getting loaned out. He didn't want to be there sitting in the 21s, whatever it was then. So he was like, I'll take the loans. So he was getting loaned out to Rangers and Antwerp and I think Stoke and
Some experience, though, innit? To have on board.
And then when Roy Keane, he had the opportunity of staying at United, but again potentially going out on loan. And Roy Keane was obviously went. I think he went. Where did he go first? Was he Ipswich or Sunderland? And obviously straight away wanted to take him with him. So he went with Roy, and then he's had a great career. And seeing him in training, I can see why he's had a great career.
Yeah.
Like the standards. And still now, probably the hungriest player we've got in that squad.
Is he a leader? Is he going to be the captain? Who's the captain? Or don't you know yet?
Tough one, a captain. We've got a lot of players that could be the captain.
Yeah.
I think with Lee, kind of how I've sold it to him is that, you come to the end of your career, why not have a couple of seasons somewhere where you really enjoy it, have some success to finish off your career. You had a great career. Have somewhere where you can bring your kids. You can, your parents can come watch you. Your wife can go there without people getting on at you.
Yeah.
And I think for him, he's been captain wherever he's been. I think part of me is like, just come and enjoy it and play.
Yeah. So, and he will probably captain without having the armband on anyway. You get players to do that.
Honestly, we've only had 2 or 3 sessions, but if you just see him train, that
you can see it.
that will rub off on people.
Yeah.
You know, and for our younger players, you know, that's some experience.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I know you've made loads of signings already, but your squad planning looking into the new season, how are we going along with that? Is that pretty much done now, or are you going to still be tweaking it up?
Non-league, so it's never done.
Yeah.
It's always someone comes available, etc. I think we're at a stage where we've got the core, definitely got the core of our squad. If we can get 2 more, brilliant, because we are running with a lighter squad than what I've previously done. But that was kind of intentional because we want to bring some local lads through as well.
Yeah.
So I could get 20 players that have all been playing at this level. It'd be harder to gel them together in terms of off the pitch, that camaraderie, etc. And also, there'd be more players in the way of these young lads trying to come through.
Yeah.
And looking at yesterday, there's some good players there.
Yeah, there's some good players there. You know, the lad we signed from Margate, Louis Procopi, just turned 17. He's going to be a serious player. And having him around proper experience, not experience at this level, because that's what I think Ramsgate had last year. They had good other than Coyley, they had players that were really experienced at this level.
Yeah.
But
not your Lee Martins.
Never got out of this level and never experienced, you know, success. I think only 2 of the players had won a league or won promotion before. And I think that's told in the end.
Because you've only kept 3 from last season.
And that, again,
is that your choice as well? Do you say, look?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, were the players that I would have kept in the squad? Yeah, there were. And some of them like, well, I'm going to go with Coyley. I'm going to go with, you know, that loyalty to the manager. It's fine.
Yeah.
There was not, you know, there's no one there really that I was desperate to keep.
Okay.
Because I think I only want players that really want to be at the football club.
Yeah.
You know, some of them might have seen me come in and go, I don't fancy playing for him. That's fine. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
you get players like that. I had, even when I was young, I had managers that I did not want to play for, and I got managers that you're like, I will play well under him.
It works both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm not one that's precious. I just get on with it. That is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, in my head, I'm thinking, right, I'm coming to Ramsgate. I'm not going, right, this is my squad here. I'm going, right, I'm blank canvas. Yeah. Because I'm going to play a different way.
Yeah.
You know, they were very direct. We will be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So those players that were very direct, you know, and there were some players there, you know, supporters are saying to me, oh, you know, you've got to keep this player. And I'm thinking, like, I can see why, you know, I'm not going to give the name, but, you know, last-ditch tackles, brilliant, you know, wears his heart on his sleeve. But those last-ditch tackles are because they got bad positioning.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, I don't know, yeah, it's, again, people have opinions on people, but ultimately, it's not the supporters' opinions that matter, it's mine.
Yeah.
And
you're right, really.
if I've annoyed some people, then I've annoyed some people. But what I would say, we've also made some good signings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The fans, there is a buzz around the stadium, definitely. Even when you go to matches like before you came, there's a buzz. There's things happening around here. You can definitely feel it before you came.
100%.
And even more so now you're there, and the signings that are being made. Yesterday, there's just a buzz there, isn't there? I know there was a presentation going on after, but the amount of people there, and the kids are loving it.
I said to the players, I said, look, I know you might be dropping down a couple of levels. I'm telling you, this club is as big as the club you've just come from. So Lee Martin, Dover. I'm telling you, if we were the same league as Dover, and obviously that's been done on historically. Dover have had big budgets and been in those leagues. If we were the same level as Dover, we would be a bigger club. Yeah, and that's not pie in the sky. It's a fact. Yeah, you know, with the amount of youth teams we've got, we're already getting close to, if not better, crowds in than Dover.
Oh right, okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
you know, we're certainly up there. You know, and a bit more success, that will snowball. Yeah. You know, I hope the average attendances this year, we should be getting over 1,000 every week. And that's, for this level, is mental. Yeah.
Do you feel like you said you've only had 3 sessions with the team at the moment? Do you feel like you've got good connection with the players at the moment? Or?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think I'm one that will go out of my way to try and maximise everything I can do in that. So for example, Rowan Leebird, I've never met him face to face
Right.
because he's been away on international duty with St Kitts and Nevis, or Nevis and Kitts, whichever way it was round. He's been playing in the Gold Cup, but like I FaceTimed him. I've done the bits behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there to make yourself known,
And for him to feel comfortable around me, so when he comes back in, it's going to be
Because
straight
if you
away
hadn't
around
have
him.
done, if you hadn't have done that, if that was me personally, if I'm him and you hadn't have done that, I'd be like, he hasn't even contacted me. I know I'm away, but he hasn't even made the effort. But
Exactly.
you have.
After they got through to the qualifying, to the group stages, like literally, I think an hour after, I'm on FaceTime to him going, yes, how you doing? And
That's good.
quality, keep going. So it's just small little things. And if I was a player, that small little thing would have meant a lot.
What about off the pitch? Like, will you be doing things through the season off the pitch as a team? Do you do things like that? Are you one of them managers that team bonding sort of?
So obviously there'll be a group of lads in the dressing room that will organise that.
Oh, right, okay.
We've already got a fines list, so the fines go into the players' pot. Players' pots and used.
What are the fines? Lateness, obviously.
So if you're late, it's 50 quid. That's training or match day. If you're late, 50 quid. Things like no flip flops in the shower.
No flip flops in the shower.
Yeah, not showering. That's a big one.
Right.
I think that's 30, 40 quid.
Yeah.
Obviously, making sure you've got matched like the Ramsgate training kit on and things like that. If you're missing an item, it's £10 an item. I think red card, 25 quid. Yellow card. Yeah. Or if we win, I've got to pay £10 in. The management team have all got to pay a tenner in.
Oh, right. Cost you to win.
With that, just moving on to that. So you said you obviously there's a fine for 25 quid if they get a red card.
Yeah.
What's the fine from the actual FA from the league?
For the league.
Isn't it the same to the Prem?
Is it the same?
It's the same, yeah.
Like if you got a red card at Sunday League, it's the same as a player in the Premier League.
Really?
Card, yeah.
I think it's
What,
gone
like
up.
35 quid?
I think if it's misconduct, so like abusing a referee and things like that, I think it's more. I think it's 50 quid.
Yeah.
You can get up to 100 quid Sunday League. When I was
The
managing
right
Sunday
I've
League.
got 35.
But it's exactly the same as Premier League.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But then
my last game at Hernbag got sent off for
Oh, okay.
the referee at the end. I knew I was resigning,
Oh, right, yeah.
and it was an appalling display. So I thought, you know what, I'm going for it.
Does that not carry over then to the Ramsgate?
No, because it was I got a 2-game ban, and I think 300, 400 quid, £500 fine. Wow. 2-game ban, but it was 2 games of home base.
Ah, right.
And that was mid-season last year.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, stupid of me, but emotions were high.
I've got a couple of our followers that have got questions.
Yep.
One is from Aidan saying, what's happening with Gerald, the right back?
Gerald, he obviously was at the club before.
Has he gone?
He was on a certain bit of money.
Okay.
For what Gerald needs to travel down, we can't.
Oh, does he not live down here? I don't know who he is.
No, he's
personally.
from London.
Oh, okay.
I like Gerald,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're just going in a different direction.
Okay.
We brought a young lad in, an 18-year-old from Colchester to play there.
A couple of questions we've already covered, like his promotion to goal, which I think is obvious, but you'd rather go up as champions, obviously. You'd rather not have to go through the playoffs.
Well, it's mad. You sitting here now, yes, but what's a better feeling, champions or playoffs? There's a question for you.
I would say champions, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say winning the league.
Do you think playoffs?
I've
obviously-
won leagues before.
Yeah. It don't feel as good as playoffs.
Oh, that it's just
Really?
I suppose because you're playing that one game, which could mean you or someone else going up.
I mean, it's not good for the heart, but
It's almost like a cup
winning
final.
the
It's like a
playoffs.
cup final, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in tears on the sideline. Like it was
Yeah.
mental. Whereas champions, you kind of know it's coming.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like,
So if you had to choose one now, you'd choose champions,
of course,
wouldn't you? Yeah. Okay. We've asked what attracted you to Ramsgate, and what do Ramsgate fans expect next season? What do you think? They
Good
should
football.
expect?
So, yeah, an attacking team. I say good football. You know, good football's winning football, isn't it? But a style of play that people will pay to watch. I I know, and I've played it at times, just clipping it into striker and just squeezing everyone up, being all speed. But
it works against certain opponents.
It does, but it's not enjoyable.
No.
If you're a player, I was a centre midfielder back in the day, seeing that ball go over my head all the time, giving you a neck ache. There's nothing worse than that.
No.
I hated it. And paying your money to go and watch something, you want to watch decent football. I think the style of play that you have in the Premier League has dropped down. It filters down into the non-league.
Yeah.
I think more and more clubs are playing out from the back, keepers, two centre halves in the 18-yard box receiving and playing from there.
Yeah.
It causes problems, and supporters are like, "What are you doing?" But I mean, we scored a couple of goals yesterday from doing that, where they were pressing us, and then it's gaps, and
I noticed the ball was being moved fast,
Yeah.
very fast, which was nice to watch.
Yeah. I've got one. So, the question you asked us about being champions or playoff, I might sound a bit crazy about saying this, because I don't know. Maybe you two can answer as well. Is there a financial incentive for going up into the from one league to the?
There is. Yeah. So generally, obviously, you go up, you play against bigger clubs,
right? Okay, yeah,
bigger followings, so that helps.
Yeah.
Not always the case, because obviously there are local derbies in this league, but yeah, when you go up, generally there are bigger clubs to play against. You go into like the FA Cup and things like that. You go into later rounds. You go in at later rounds, the prize money's higher. So straight away, you're automatically going to get, worst case scenario, if you lose,
more money anyway. Yeah.
More money anyway. Easier to recruit players, so you don't.
More attractive.
Well, of course it is. Yeah. You might have to pay a premium to get someone to drop down 3 leagues. But if you're that league above, it's the players has to give up less, don't they?
Yeah.
If they have to give up less, then there's less that you have to try and appease them with. And also, I think there is. I think you get like a couple of grand from the league for winning it. And,
yeah,
you get £1,000 or something for getting to the playoffs. But also with the playoffs, you get like the gate money. So in the playoff games, you're definitely getting over 1,000. You're getting them extra games where you halve the money.
Yeah.
So it'd actually be like the way in the Championship, where the playoff final, you actually get more from that than actually winning the Championship.
That's TV rights mainly, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is TV rights.
Yeah. Could that work in a similar fashion
at
this level?
Publicity as well. Right, publicity from winning the playoffs. We would have got more publicity than Hastings, and they were champions. Yeah. Which is mad and wrong, but
yeah,
you'll love it if
everyone likes. Everyone likes that, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
of course it does.
Yeah, if it's your club, you're not going to mind that at all.
Yeah. But losing it, and it's the worst.
Yeah. Okay, well, just moving on to general football now, just quickly. City's treble winning side. I saw you commenting about it on Twitter. Do you think they're the best side ever, Premier League?
I don't know how they can't be. Obviously, there's a cloud in terms of the financial charges. 100 odd of them.
115, yeah.
Which is shocking.
Yeah.
Well, we just had a release this week, didn't we, about the... I think the Sun released it, didn't they? So that they took, I think, was it 30 million in
donation,
a donation from an unknown source, which was clearly their owners, to try and cover up and say it was sponsorship. So
that's on top of the 115.
Yeah, that's on top of the 115 charges.
Something's got to be done, otherwise football's not going to be football. It will just be a different sport, wouldn't it? So something's got to be done, but we'll see.
Do you think they will get done? Do you think they'll get punished? Because you get teams, we spoke about it.
Well, in Italy, Juve, they've been punished loads, haven't they?
Yeah.
They got demoted to like the lowest professional league.
I just find the lower down teams get punished more.
Yeah,
your Derby, your other teams,
I don't know. I don't know whether the Italian thing they had, like UEFA and things like that, will get involved. So I know that with the City one, it's the Premier League.
Yeah, because they tried. It was through UEFA, wasn't it? The other one was through UEFA, which is they were going to get the Champions League ban, weren't they?
Yeah.
But they weren't allowed to compete in Europe, and I think this one's with the Premier League.
So I'm
hoping that they do actually. Well, I'm hoping they get to the bottom of it and find out what actually happened, and something happens and they get.
Because you've now got Chelsea, obviously selling all these players to Saudi Arabia and.
Oh mate.
Right. You're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
It's so infuriating. It's so infuriating.
And the 8-year contracts.
Yeah.
Right.
They've stopped that though, haven't they? They've just stopped it, yeah.
Yeah, but we signed that striker like the day before they stopped it on an 8-year contract.
That's mad, isn't it? Right.
They
So many loopholes, and the thing is, you don't know who else is doing it, do you?
No.
Like, if you think back, I'm obviously an Arsenal fan. I think back to when Arsenal played, when we lost our unbeaten run after the Invincible season at United.
Yeah.
You go on Twitter and there's like so many videos of it, and Arsenal just got absolute kicked the shit out of.
Yeah, we were cheated out of that game, 100%.
There's no way. There's no way that game was done fairly.
I still get angry
Even as an Arsenal fan, I watch it and it's like Gary Neville's like 2-footing people walking away, like not even a foul.
Rooney dived
On Reyes. I mean,
was it Rooney that dived for the penalty?
But I think Rio Ferdinand, I can't remember what Arsenal player was clean through, and Rio Ferdinand wiped him out.
Wiped him out completely, yeah. Oh,
It was like a rugby tackle.
Yeah. Didn't even give it, did they?
Mental.
No.
Is this the one time Arsenal fans would say that VAR would have been brilliant back then?
Well, they can't give VAR free kicks.
They would have been down to 7 men, I think.
Honestly, have you
Have
ever watched it?
They would have been happy. I haven't.
Mate,
no.
watch it. It is unbelievable how we got
But
treated.
like, the
I've
more you
seen
watch
some
it back,
tackles
the
from
more
it.
you think
How did they get away with
something's not right there.
it? Yeah, they weren't even hiding it.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of Arsenal fans. How do you feel about Kai Havertz now being your best paid player in your team? 330k a week apparently.
When it's Arsenal, everyone knows the fees, everyone knows the prices
There's
they
an
get
obsession.
paid. No other club, do they? Like, the media would have you believe that McAllister went for 35 million.
Yeah.
The media would have you believe that Maddison, it was only a 40 million deal. But they forget that Winks went the other way for 10 million.
Yeah.
It's quite smart from Tottenham's side for them to just hold that back, do that deal, and then go, yeah, there's Winks 10 million.
Yeah, separately.
Because obviously suddenly then it's a smaller deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fans go, what a deal that is. But really, it's a 50 million deal.
What do you think about Havertz?
I think it could be a great sign for us. The thing is, he's been at Chelsea where they've had no stability. He's a young player.
How many managers has he played under at Chelsea?
Oh, well, you had Lampard,
4, isn't it?
Twice.
Tuchel, Potter, and then you had some of Potter's coaches when he left. Yeah. So
So he's played under a few different managers. He was a wonder kid at Bayer Leverkusen. Chelsea obviously paid a lot of money for him. I don't think he's a number 9.
Yeah.
Chelsea were playing him there.
Apparently we're going to play him as number 8.
For me, as a midfielder, I think it'd be great
Yeah.
because he'll go and get on the end of things. He can shoot
Drive forward.
from distance. He can hit from distance. I think it'd be much better there. I mean,
So who's going to be your
watching-
midfield then? Do you reckon?
Rice and then Havertz and
Well, you haven't
Odegaard in
got
front.
Rice yet, have you?
yeah,
We have.
yeah. I think that's pretty much done.
and then I think in the big games, I think he'll play if Partey stays, Partey and Rice.
Yeah.
I don't think he's staying at all. I don't think he'll stay, which is a shame. I want Xhaka to stay. I don't know about you. I rate Xhaka so much.
Mad because when he first signed, I got on my kid's shirt. I got Xhaka on the back of his shirt, and then he was getting absolute pelters.
Yeah.
And obviously, I quite liked him because he wears his heart on his sleeve. And how many
Plays
times?
every minute of every game.
How many times at Arsenal we had players that don't work,
Yeah, exactly.
where that are soft as
Yeah.
anything, and
We've been crying out for players like that for years.
And
Then when
again,
we get one,
Xhaka gets sent off for putting his head into someone else. Like,
Yeah.
how many players don't get sent off for that?
Yeah.
I do think again he's another one that it's that Arsenal agenda, and I know we're Arsenal fans, so it's easy for us to say.
I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that Son has been sent off more times for Tottenham than Xhaka has for Arsenal since
Has he?
Xhaka signed.
Really?
Yeah.
Son does get sent off like.
But no one talks about it.
Yeah.
But with Xhaka, it's he gets sent off all the time.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
It's
He
his
got
style
sent
of
off for
play though
breaking
as well. Do you
things.
know what I mean?
Things
People
like
He
that.
very
look at his style
rarely
of
even
play.
gets booked now.
Yeah.
Last year he got booked all the time.
And I think the way he's adapted his game as well shows what a great player
Yeah.
he
He
is.
conducted himself a lot better last
There's a
season.
reason he was the captain of Arsenal.
better.
There's a reason he's a captain of his country. There's a reason every manager plays him every minute that he's fit.
And he is the captain of Arsenal, by the way.
Yeah.
Or Odegaard wears the
Don't wear the
armband,
armband, but yeah.
and Odegaard's the last player to clap the fans and that. I
Yeah.
like that. But Xhaka, any time there's a team huddle, things like that, he's
Yeah. I like him. What about Liverpool signings? McAllister and I can't say his name.
Szoboszlai, mate.
What do you
so
think?
boss guy.
You happy with that?
Amazing. Brilliant player.
He's
I'll
good.
Honestly,
I've rated
I'd
him.
look at his like stats just in the Bundesliga alone last season. He scored 10 goals and 13 assists from midfield. And that's in a Leipzig side.
Yeah.
And mate, he's going to do wonders along with McAllister.
I think the statue said
brilliant.
you had ready for me.
He looked good for he looked good for Hungary as well when they played England.
Well, he was captain for Leipzig. He's captain for Hungary as well.
We
22
were linked to
years
him
old.
last year, weren't we?
I think he's a good player.
He's a youngster.
I mean, how he's going to fit into that midfield, I don't know.
I've got it worked out, mate.
Are they going to change? Are they going to change the style slightly? I don't know.
How are they going to do it then?
I would love to see Szoboszlai with McAllister, and then I would like to sign a right back. I want Pavard from Bayern Munich,
Put Trent in
and put Trent into midfield.
Yeah.
And they play them as a three. And then you've got on the bench, you've got Fabinho and Henderson on the bench to come off and do a job if they need to shore things up.
But McAllister, Szoboszlai, are they going to fit into Jurgen's high press?
I've seen highlights and watched a few games of Szoboszlai, and he is relentless. He doesn't stop.
Okay.
He made the most sprints as well,
Yeah,
didn't he?
he runs himself into
so
the
he does
ground.
fit.
He's a
Off the
clock
ball,
type of player.
On the ball, he's great.
Yeah, and off the ball, his work
if he
rate
does
is
that,
unreal.
then, yeah.
In the
So-
Bundesliga, he made the most sprints in the whole league.
Because I think, I know he was kind of ridiculed when he first signed Nunes. I think he'll come good.
Mate, he's going to be.
He's got
player.
to.
They said the problem was with him was the language barrier.
Yeah.
So he couldn't
He's
speak
got all the
to
attributes.
players.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
I do think he'll come good.
But they actually said, didn't they? So the big chances that he missed last season, if he'd have scored all of them big chances that he missed, he'd have scored more goals than Haaland.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
Mad.
It's just he's finished that finishing touch, he's getting in the right positions, making the right runs, and the
that
last
happens.
little bit.
Happened at
Yeah.
Bergkamp, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that
Bergkamp,
comes.
waste of money.
Yeah, but you look at other players as well that have come through. Like Drogba's first season at Chelsea, it was awful. But look at the some player he became. There's players you have to give time, and I think he will come good. Nunez is going to be fantastic this season, I reckon.
It takes some time to adapt.
Yeah.
Sometimes some players just need a season, don't they? Like talking about Chelsea as well, we've signed Nkunku this season. So I think we signed him back in January. Have any of you seen any Nkunku
He's lively,
games?
isn't he? He's lively.
Oh, he's rapid. He's rapid, skillful, good in the turn. Got some goals in him. We signed Nicholas Jackson as well. Talking about Drogba, Nicholas Jackson. I think he's 23, comes in for Villarreal, cites Drogba as his idol, like growing up, one of his idols growing up. I'll be honest with you, I've never...
That's good promotion from Chelsea, isn't it? Just say Drogba, mate.
Fans will love it.
Yeah, brilliant. He loved Drogba.
Yeah.
Name dropped. Didn't he?
I've never heard of Nicholas Jackson at all. Like in January, he was linked to Bournemouth, and then all of a sudden Chelsea going for him.
He started scoring at the back end of the season, though, didn't he?
Yeah, I think his conversion rate in La Liga was just second to Benzema.
Really?
Yeah. So hopefully, is he going to be the answer to Chelsea's problems? Though that's the question. Because we don't score goals. That's not a Chelsea thing anymore. Scoring goals isn't us.
No,
No.
that is a problem massively.
Yeah.
Depends. He'll probably change the shape, change everything, won't he? I mean, you've got two
Where's the depth?
lively players, haven't you?
That's midfield depth now, this season, which is
Someone's going then.
I'm quite happy. But we've got rid of, didn't we? We got rid of 4 players.
Is it Fabinho that had rumours that he'd fallen out with Pop?
The Klopp.
No, Klopp. Sorry, Klopp. Did he not fall out with him last year? That's when he started playing badly. No.
Not that I know. I know he was injury hit quite a lot,
Mm.
and I think that just sort of took him down a bit. It's the same as Van Dijk. I think the injury from
Pickford. Was shocking.
coming back from that, he hasn't been the same player at all. I think he could. I'm hoping that if we play better and start a better season, he might kick on him.
What about the
back
new
to his
offside
best.
rule that they're implementing? It's not quite in England yet, I don't think, but it's going into Sweden, Italy, and somewhere else. It was Arsene Wenger's idea because he's part of the UEFA now, is it?
Yeah.
And the whole player has to be offside now. Past the last man, the whole part of his
I
body.
think that makes sense.
There has to be clear daylight between the two players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's going back to what it kind of was.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think this whole toe business and front of your boots and all that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
The striker always got benefit of the doubt, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they're not now.
The manner in which they defend in the Prem and in any other league that's in, we'll have to change. Do you know what I mean? We'll have to change slightly. From a Chelsea perspective, bring back Timo Werner. Bring him back. He'd have like 40 goals a season.
Was he always just offside? Promoted teams: Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United. How do you think they'll get on?
That's hard, isn't it?
And Luton going straight back down.
Last year they did well, didn't they? Promoted sides, but
I watched that playoff final with Luton, and they do not look like a Prem side.
Do they not?
No, they don't. They're going to struggle, I reckon.
Burnley, obviously, he's been proven to be a good manager, but whether they come in and just go, you know what, we're going to stick to our style and go straight back down.
They got City, didn't they? First game.
Yeah.
Company
It's
versus
tough,
Pep.
Yeah, that's going to be
But
a silly
I think Burnley have actually got some money now.
Have they?
I think they've had new owners.
Oh right.
I
Okay.
think since they went down, actually. funny
Yeah.
enough. So yeah,
I don't know much about Sheffield United. Do you?
Not really, no.
just very well.
But it's
Again.
going to be interesting next season. You've got 3 managers in the league that are basically, well, you've got Pep, and then you've got
Arteta.
Company and Arteta. You know,
Yeah.
all from the school of Pep, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
How do you think Arsenal will get on next season?
Well, with the signings and who we're potentially bringing in, etc., I think we're challenged again.
So do I.
I think you need that number 9 though. You need that out and out striker.
Yeah, but I think they'll sign one. I don't.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
You're going to have spent it after
haven't
Rice.
seen
You're going to
any
have spent what
reports
160
of
million
them going
already.
on for
Yeah.
now.
You go to Champions League, you get an extra 100 million anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they would have had money put aside. I think the Cronkies they've won in the NFL.
Just won basketball, isn't it?
Now they've just won the NBA.
Oh wow. Yeah, so
Like,
you're doing alright then, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's left for them to go and push for? Josh Kroenke's like now the controlling sort of director at Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think since they've put him as that person, it's now like it is on them, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they've gone, all right, we're getting stick, we'll take responsibility. They've put him in charge.
Yeah.
And who's the most likely person to get the money out of his old man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he ain't gonna want his boy to. He's not gonna want his boy to fail in it, is he?
No.
You know, so I think that's great. He's got a very good relationship with Arteta,
Yeah.
which I think is really
What
positive.
I like is he's in and around the club as well. Like that all
That's
or
what I
nothing.
mean,
He's
like-
around the training ground,
Yeah.
and owners don't tend to do that. And
No.
He's around the training ground. He's in the changing room. I love all that.
And I like the fact that, you know, we had so many years of like trying to bring this player in. We've actually got a philosophy,
Yeah, and we're doing them early.
you know,
Getting the
a
players in
philosophy. We're not messing around. You know, Arteta's built a style, and we'll have more Sakas come through.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, and I'd rather do it this way than I know I'm saying we'll spend on a striker, but I'd rather do it this way than chuck 600 million at it in January.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was going to say. Like, do
You
you
pay
think
Roman cracks, didn't you?
that the reason that they've with the approaching with Declan Rice is why they've said they'll do the payments, won't they, over 4 years,
Yeah.
to 25 million a year. Do you think that's to try and keep the financial fair play
Yeah.
down?
Oh, yeah.
So then
What
they,
people don't
so then they
realise-
can go and get that number 9
What-
and spend the
What
extra bit of
annoys me
money.
about that, and you said it, it's always when Arsenal, every transfer's done like that. It's all done in instalments. But when it's Arsenal, it's Arsenal want to do it in instalments. If Chelsea bought a player tomorrow for 100 million, they're not going here's 100 mil.
No.
Yeah, well, I think that's.
But that is
it's been-
documented, to be fair.
It's been blown up because that's the reason why the transfer's not gone through yet. So I think that's why it's
I heard
blown
it was
up.
a case of
because-
6 months. I heard we want to pay it over 2 years, and they want it over 18 months.
But
It will get there.
Yeah, that's all that.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I'll
Sorry.
see you up there.
But anyone you want on there, let me know.
Yeah,
Even if it's a case of you do a phone in with one of them during it or whatever.
yeah, we can do
The
that.
London boys.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to set up anything at the grounds at any point,
Yeah,
when we're training, they're coming off
Yeah.
training and do something.
yeah.
Great,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'd be lovely. Yeah,
What I
get some
didn't know
interviews and stuff,
if I
can't
can do, but I don't want to get too involved. I don't want to get in your way.
Yeah.
Is like just outside the change rooms, maybe, or
Do whatever.
even
yeah.
in the change rooms. But obviously,
Honestly, you do whatever you
are
want.
you sure?
Yeah, there's no issue at all.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming along. Cheers.
Have a good one. Nice to meet
Cheers,
you.
guys.
Said we
Cheers,
didn't
mate.
want
Nice
to
to meet
get.
you.